And here we are for the final part of our problem. We're going to do the Tableau visualizations just to finish up and give us another way of doing things. So as always, we're going to go in, we're going to grab our data. Actually, I should be in chapter 3. We are looking at golf stats. And then I want to grab the sheet that we're going to use, which is data. And here's all of our Excel data. It's all come into place. Okay, so we're going to go to worksheet 1. Now, one thing that I do want to just quickly do, because we are going to be playing around with earnings, which is our money. I just want to go to default properties, number format, and then we're going to go to currency custom, get rid of the decimals, because I know we're going to be doing this anyway, so I might as well just get it set so it's ready to go. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is we want to do a scatter plot, that Q1. And so we will go rename Q1 part A. This was our earnings, age and number of events. So click on age, which is the number. Hold, click number of events. So I've got the two of those together. I will hit my XY scatter plot and boom, it gives it to me. Oh my gosh, we've got players that are 6,700 years old making 320 million. What's going on? Remember, Tableau always wants to aggregate. So we'll go to analysis, kill aggregate measures, and so there we go. Now also notice that it kind of put it the way that we didn't want it because we had earnings here before and age. That's really easy to fix. Swap rows, boom, there it is. Everything is great. And we can see everything that's going on. We can query the different points. And so remember, we can play around with the tooltip. So what is the tooltip? It's coming up with the data. So actually, let's get the player name. I'm going to drop player name into tooltip, and it automatically adds it. Now, if you're already playing with the tooltip, you could come in here to insert. You can worry about inserting all this different stuff. But this is really quick, and so now we go to Justin Thomas made the most in whatever year that we did here. And Curtis Luck made nothing, poor guy. Anyway, so that's the first one, and we could just sit here and we can change this title in age and events do not show any relationship. So there we go. We are in good shape. That's our title. And boom, that is done. So what our second one was looking at earnings versus age. Oh, actually, this is earnings versus age. I did part B first and I wasn't even thinking about it. That's easy enough. That's fine. We're just going to go. We're going to rename this B. And we don't know if that, actually, we can sit here and go, our top earners are all under 40 with many in their 20s. And we made that statement before, and it still holds out as the same graph. Geez, so I made a mistake there. So let's go back and look at events versus age. Well, I can sit here, duplicate this sheet. So right-click, duplicate. I'm going to reorder it here since the beginning. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this A. So this is the one that actually the title is going to be age and events do not show any relationship. Yeah, I'm making that statement now even though we haven't graphed it, but we already know what's going to happen because we all just did the Excel. So this is really easy to change. The reason I made the duplicate is instead of earnings, I'm just going to drag that out. I just drag it over here to get rid of it, and I am just going to plop events up into its place, and there we go. So everything really easy to make those switches. And I've already put that tooltip in, so the player stuff stays the same. Okay, let's go back here to earnings, and I'm just going to do it again because there is no reason to redo this. So this would be for Q2A, and that was earnings and yards per drive. So I'll leave earnings where it is. I'll pull age here to get rid of it, and we're just going to pull in yards per drive, put it in, and there we go. So that has now popped in. Couple things, you'll see that it says 28 nulls here. What does that mean? Well, null is a blank spot. So remember, in Excel, we had all these blank cells, and we had to clean the data or the XY scatter graph wouldn't work. Tableau kind of recognizes they're there and goes, okay, well, I'm just going to tell you you've got these. So if you click on that, you'll have a couple of different options. And it tells you, okay, well, we've got 28 null values. What are we going to do? Well, you can filter the data, which basically does what we did in Excel, which it just gets rid of it. Or it can show the data at the default position, which nulls are shown at 0. Typically, we're just going to go, okay, filter the data, forget about it. We're going to ignore it. And so there we go. So now we have our earnings per drive and yards per drive. Now, one thing you will notice with this graph, it's really clustered over here. You have a lot of white space here. So a lot of times, to make things look a little bit better, we'll eliminate some of that white space. Along the x-axis, it's usually not a problem. You have to watch it with the y-axis because once you start not starting things at 0, it's very easy to misrepresent data. And so typically, if I was doing something in the y-axis and because all the data was up here and I'd started at 8 million, I would put a big flag. So everybody would, the first thing they would see is the flag that says, hey, we're starting at 8. But as we're dealing x-axis, not as important because it doesn't really matter as much. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to go to edit axis. Now typically the range is set to automatic and you can play around with things if we change it to fixed. And let's go, let's say 260, and so that it will fix the bottom to 260 and say run that to 320. Okay, now, so what that's done, as you can see it has made things a little bit easier to see. Now, instead of starting at 0, we are starting at 260, and so that's not really, I don't think that really misrepresents things. Kind of gets a little funny when you start at like 5 million and go up, but this is a pretty good graph here. And we're just going to bang out the next one, and we're just going to do the same thing. We'll go duplicate, and then we will rename this as 2B. Now, actually, we should probably go back and before, is we need to rename this, and let's see. Come in here, and the top earners are definitely over like 290, so we'll say top earners average over 290 yards per drive. And there we go. So we went to B. Once again, it's really easy to make the change because now instead of yards per drive, we're going to do accuracy. So we'll get rid of yards per drive. We will throw up drive accuracy. It's all done for us. And once again, let's get rid of some of this white space. We'll take it to fixed and 45 to 74. And there we go. That spaces out the data for us. And since we've just been copying this, we're not having to redo the tooltip because it's already there. We're just like slapping in and out stuff. It makes it really quick and easy. And we're going to say accuracy is not as critical. Top earners are not near the top of PGA in driving accuracy. Oh, is that spelled right? A-C-C-U-R. There. And then should be a C in there. Okay. Okay, and so there we go. We just bang those out. Oh, and we got one more. We got Q3, so let's just do it again. Duplicate. We're going to rename this Q3. And what was the last one we were looking at? We were looking at putting average versus earnings. So we'll drop driving accuracy here. We'll throw putting average up in there. Once again, we've got a clustered little looking flame there. So let's edit that axis and we'll fix that. And we'll go from 1.6. Actually, let's 1.65. We'll spread it out even more. 1.65 to 1.86. I'm just like looking at the numbers at the bottom to see where it falls, just to find something that's a good scatter there. Once again, player tooltip still in there. Let's just change the name. Short game is key. Put an exclamation point because that's really important stuff. And so there we go. There's all the Tableau graphs. And once again, quick to change, especially since we can just duplicate this stuff and make some quick little changes. Great use of Tableau for making a lot of scatter graphs like that. Okay, so that is the end of this problem. I hope that everybody took a lot out of it and learned a bunch of stuff today. So I'll see you guys next time.